Welcome to Find It. Tonight, we have a very special guest, as we always do, John Horton out of Chicago, the Windy City. Let me tell you something. He's a mortgage lender. He does stuff as an EMT, and he used to be on radio, and he has 6 kids. So I can't wait to ask him about all of these things. And to make it even better, he's freaking hilarious. Like, I have laughed backstage, Lynn and I. You guys are not going to want to miss him. Hang tight. We're going to show his intro, and John will be right back with us. John.
Wow. I got to take these off so it's not a glare, but that was amazing, Debbie.
Well, you're amazing.
You're more amazing. First of all, I've got to tell you, I am your biggest fan. What you do for people, the way you bring people on, and the things you do, the questions you ask. I've watched everything you've done. Obviously, is it Spado or Spado? Given his profession, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but absolutely incredible. So thanks for you. And I know we've talked about this for a while. We hooked up on TikTok of all things, yes. And this is where we ended up. So I appreciate it, my friend. I'm so excited. I can't see you, so I got to put these back on.
It's totally fine. It doesn't matter that there's a glare. I thank you for saying that. And I obviously enjoy you too. Like, who would have thought? I am very interested in everyone and what their story is. And when I was going through TikTok and you were on a live, and I thought, this guy is too freaking funny. I mean, he's talking about mortgages and rates, and I have no interest in that whatsoever. But you kept me entertained. You just make me laugh so much. So tell me, John, what does a mortgage lender do?
Well, thank you, Debbie. I will tell you. So first of all, the whole TikTok thing was weird. So I saw the kids on it. I'm like, TikTok, that's great. I'm like, I got to try it. And then I Googled literally how to go live. Excuse me. So you go live with 1,000 people. 1,000 people is nuts. And then, okay, what does a mortgage lender do? Really, I've been doing it 32 years. To me, it's education. There's so many people out there that are not educated about the mortgage process. Veterans, thank you for your service. If you qualify, 100% financing. Oh. FHA, 3.5%. There's so much out there that people just aren't educated about. When you get educated, it's really simple. A mortgage lender makes dreams come true, to be honest with you. You help people with their first home. You help people with parents buying their kids condos in college. You help people up when they're upgrading houses. You help people when their kids are out of school, they downgrade houses. It is education, and it's a lifelong experience. I got to be honest with you. It's something I've done that I couldn't imagine ever doing anything else, because it's all about relationship. It's not a numbers game. You know how it is and what you do. You get along with people. People follow you. They don't follow the company. They follow you. You be honest. You're upfront. You educate them, and it forms a relationship. And it's a customer for life.
Right. And so do you...
Hey, did you hear the mortgage rates have gone down in the last couple of months? Probably not, because it's good news. Rates have gone down. You need to follow me. Let's connect. John, the mortgage guy. Chat soon.
John, you are good.
You are. I don't know what I'm expecting. I don't know what I'm expecting for the next 3 hours that we're going to be live, Debbie. I have no idea what's going on.
But I mean, yeah. Oh, Sean Benson. She's a real estate agent, my bestie. Good evening. Hello, Sean. I was talking to her this morning. We were boxing. I'm like, what are some good questions to ask? She's like, I'll tune in and ask some. So, yay.
Well, here we go. Now we got the serious ones coming in. Hello, Sean.
Yeah. How you wrap what you deliver and what you wrap it with. That's what matters greatly. Yeah. But you know what, John, the relationships, like even in your bio that you had given me, it's about the relationships that you build with people that you enjoy so much. So you probably have people, 32 years is a long time to be in the same industry. So you probably have people who bought their first home and are now downgrading because the kids are gone.
You know, it's that, and it's funny. I had one of the guys in the office, and he was kind of a younger guy, and he's like, where do I get my relationships? He goes, I kind of don't like to talk to people. I said, well, you might be
Have
in
a
the wrong
problem.
business. What are you doing? But then he started talking. He goes, no, I went to Indiana and I'm a fraternity guy. And I'm like, stop yourself. If you're a fraternity guy and you went to Indiana, whatever school, for 4 years, that is your database. That is not a cold call. That is you calling, going, I'm Kappa Kappa Phi Gamma, whatever you are. Whether they're 24 buying a house or 57 downgrading from a house, you have that immediate relationship. There's no cold call. Cold call days are gone. With LinkedIn and Facebook and TikTok, you know more about people that you can form a commonality with.
Yeah.
That's all people want. It's really, really simple. There's so many script takers. Hey, how are you? Insert name here. This guy walked out of the office and made 200 email phone calls in 3 days with a fraternity list. And they're going to get the call back because they have that automatic bond.
Bond, yeah.
They know who and it's in, whether you're selling cars, selling mortgages, selling fruit drinks, whatever you're selling, you just really need to go after where you find the common bond with people because it makes it a lot easier for that call.
Well, so when you say no cold call, what's your biggest driver for new clientele for you specifically?
I think the biggest thing is reaching people and hitting the goals that they want. You know, they want to take care of their family, they want their occupation, they want their recreation, they want their dreams. So that's called the Ford: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. You hit all those three in a phone call, all of a sudden you have a customer for life because now you've connected with them.
So you do have a database that you call people, but you already have that connection with those people.
Have the connection, but as well, I mean, networking right now is huge. And the thing in a business, obviously, people know rates are going up. They've actually come down in the last month a lot, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So there's so many realtors, there's so many lenders that are getting out of the business because they were so used to the refinance boom. I don't need to call on anybody. I'll wait for my phone to ring. Well, you know what? The guys, the ladies that are out in front of people, being at the events, being at the networking events, doing wonderful things like this, which will boost everything, you start to rebuild your database that you may not have had in the past because maybe their realtor, their lender are now out of the business. So you kind of want to move yourself in, but be consistent, be crazy consistent.
Oh, that's good. And everything you're giving us isn't just for mortgage lending, like you said.
No.
It translates to any other thing you're selling or services. It's the relationships, the relationships, the relationships.
Absolutely.
Does TikTok, I mean, it is so funny. And when
yes.
I'll tune into your lives because you are entertaining. And then when you get the random people who are saying weird stuff, the way you handle that is just, I belly laugh. Like, it's so funny.
You know what? Being a dude, I get some weird stuff. Being a woman, I couldn't even imagine the weird stuff you get. But you know what? Whether it's TikTok or whatever, I've learned it's absolute consistency. Where I was working before, great company, my commute was 15 minutes. So I'd leave my house at 7:10. I'd be on TikTok every morning at 7:30 to 8 o'clock. My new commute, thanks to Chicago traffic, is about an hour and a half, maybe an hour.
Ooh, ouch.
But the only thing it proved to me, besides I have to find a new radio station, is it's one of those things where if you're not consistent, you're going to lose viewers. You're going to lose people. So now I move my time from 7:30 to 8:30. And once I hit that 8:30, it started up again. But yes, some of the comments are, man.
But have you found clients from TikTok?
I'll be honest with you. I found phenomenal leads and great friends from unreal realtors. And it's like anything else. If no matter what you're selling, you're going to call on a realtor. They're not going to give you a deal the first day.
Yeah.
But if you're consistent and you answer their questions, and so it's starting to prosper. It's starting to pick up. I think maybe it's been a year I've been on. I have no idea, but honestly, Deb, it's the consistency of doing it.
Yeah. And Sean's also coming in with her comment saying consistency is key. She does really well she's very consistent and she's a hard worker and she has really creative ideas on how to get in the market and show homes and redo homes, do makeovers. It's just so interesting to follow her. You guys should connect.
We should. Let's connect.
Definitely.
But again, I was talking to some new guys I hired today, and I'm like, guys, don't sweat yourself over this.
Yeah.
Friends and family. What's the old joke? If you're in a plane and the guy next to you don't want to talk next to, what do? Tell him you sell insurance. He'll never talk to you for the rest of the flight because he doesn't want to know. But the way I relate the mortgage business, Deb, is like every Monday in the town I'm in is garbage day. I know that garbage is going to be out there.
Yeah.
I know someone knows someone that needs a mortgage, whether it's a refinance, a purchase, whatever. It's not a business that's going to go away. It's like IT. IT is blowing up, obviously. But it's one of those things. Just be normal. Just it's not
actually walk out of your house and communicate with someone.
Right.
Have
shake their hand, look in their eyes, and shake their hand, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I just heard a little joke about why did the mortgage lender go out of business? Lack of interest.
Oh, stop yourself. Here we go.
Boom.
Here we go.
Boom. Oh, just so funny. Oh, I was laughing about that. Anyway, so I you know what? We could talk about anything with you and it's going to be entertaining. But I do have a few questions that people were asking me to ask you. So like,
yes.
What's the difference between a mortgage pre-approval and a pre-qualification?
Debbie, that is a great question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
The pre-qual is really you calling me up saying, John, here's what I make. Here's what my debts are. Pre-quals, you could line a birdcage with. They just make no sense because there's no credit pulled. A pre-approval, for instance, I did one Friday for a friend of mine. You apply online, takes about 10, 15 minutes. Your credit is pulled, so you do tell your client your credit's going to be pulled. But that way it's a solid deal. You see the debts, you see the income, you see everything. They get a pre-approval letter because it's been pre-underwritten. Okay. A pre-qualification is more of a verbal, hey, here's what I make. All of a sudden, when you tell me what you make and you tell me what debt you have without us pulling anything, and then we pull it and it's wrong, that letter's worthless. Pre-approval is the way to go.
Pre-approval is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Pre-approval versus pre-qual. You need the pre-approval.
And pre-quals are accurate. Pardon me?
It's accurate.
It's very accurate. It's not 100% accurate because a lot of times the borrowers don't send in their documentation. But at least we have the credit. If they're self-employed, they have to send in their documentation because self-employed borrowers have a lot of write-offs. They have a lot of moving parts. So you want to make sure you get the accurate income before you do that.
Okay. So what's the difference between a brokerage lender and a direct lender?
I'll tell you, the bank and the broker. I've been a banker guy for 29 years. I know I look younger than that, Deb, if you could agree.
Hello. Oh, 100.
Thank you.
You are 100% youngin'. You're a youngin'.
Youngin'. How far south are you using youngin'?
Not very. I've got some Kentucky roots, though. All
right, we'll go with that. So the broker side, our business where I'm at, we do probably 98% bank business. But those offshoot deals, ITIN, it's called non-QM, non-qualified mortgages. Not a bad thing. Condotels. There's certain things that just don't fit in the box. So you want to work with a lender that maybe go outside of the box for you. Banks are great. Banks are awesome. Brokers just have a little bit more room to look at different deals.
Gotcha. Because by going to a broker, they're looking at a lot of different things
versus absolutely.
One bank only giving you what they can offer.
And if it's a regular Fannie Freddie conventional jumbo deal all day long, you'll fit right in that. But there's bank statement loans. There's so many loans. There's so many opportunities out there that honestly people don't know about. And it goes back to what we talked about. It's the education side of it.
Yeah. So like mention again, because there's a lot more people viewing right now and they can go back and watch it. But just like with the veterans, what you're saying, give us an idea of some things that are missed that people aren't educated. They don't know that they have this available to them.
Do you know, as you know, because you follow me on the TikTok.
On the TikTok, you don't stop.
That was you. What? That was, say that again. I missed. What?
Tell her we got her in on the business.
She's literally in the next room, sick.
Oh, well, she wasn't sick in that video. She's busting a move.
Not that sick. Anyway, yes, she is. In case you watch this later. Oh, I hope you feel better. Well, the VA loan, Deb, I'm telling you, I was doing something on the TikTok, and we were talking about VA loans. VA loans, if you're qualified, you are 100% financing. zero money down. And a vet called me up and said, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, it's number one, the best people of service. Thank you for your service. But number two, so not educated to know it's 100. Granted, you got a little bit of money in the game for a few things. 100% financing. Now, there's two things on that, Debbie, honestly. One, you're financing 100%. If you're in a good market, the last 2 years, average home price has raised 18%. So if you're sitting on a house, you bought it for 100,000, and again, don't quote me, you're 18%. 100% financing if you're in a down market, you kind of want to watch that because you might be in negative equity. But besides that, most people don't leave after a year.
Yeah.
That's qualified veterans, widows. It flows down if the veteran passes away.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Right.
I didn't know that. Now I know about the veteran, the VA loans, but I did not realize that it
floats down to the family. It floats down to the widow. If qualified, a few things, but nothing crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned something else that people aren't aware of typically at the beginning, but if you don't remember, that's okay. So how does a person get approved for a mortgage, and how much can they get a loan for? It's based on their salary, right? How much money they bring in.
Right. And again, the thing to do, I always tell people, even if you're not looking at moving, even if you live in an apartment, get pre-approved. Pre-approval simply means you're filling out a form, your credit is pulled, but you get a dollar amount that you can afford. I mean, there's some people right now paying $2,000-$3,000 a month for rent.
Yeah.
If you're a vet paying $3,000 a month for rent, you got 100% down. IDA in Illinois, another program, it's almost 100% financing. So it's a conversation, man. And I always tell people, I won't pull your credit. Call me. I'm an old guy, Deb. I got pen and paper.
I do too. I like to check mark.
I can't stop myself. So it's one of those things where you call, you write it down. Nothing is in concrete because we didn't pull your credit, didn't do that. But it's a conversation. I mean, it's simply a conversation. It's nuts.
Yeah. So your point is, if you're paying all this money towards something that you don't have any equity in, take a look at what you could do, especially if you could get a VA loan to buy something, to have your money will be going towards something that you own,
instead of paying someone else's rent. And again, right now, honestly, and again, on the Tikataka, I've had more people that might be deals in a year or two, but we have a conversation. You know what? It's not right for you now. This isn't good. You're better off renting. God strike me dead. I thought I'd never say that, but you're good where you're at. But let's talk every month, and let's get you in a way to go, and let's do it, because there's so many people out there. I don't know. I guess it just drives me nuts that it's really not rocket science. It's a very tough market right now. If you're selling and you're priced right, depending on your market, you will sell. Because you can't compare 2008 and 2023. 2008, there was so much inventory. Everyone's talking about a housing crash, whatever. There's not enough inventory right now for that. And again, I could be totally wrong, but
well, you do have 32 years experience. So, and you've gone through a lot and you've seen a lot. So yeah, of course you can't like say, you don't have a crystal ball, but you can compare, you have the history. But what was going on in 2020? Houses were like, I mean, I don't know. Was everyone just stuck inside and just decided I need a new house? What the hell? Like, it was selling like houses were like selling like crazy, and for a lot more than what you could have gotten.
Yeah, it was weird. It was one of those things where the pandemic hit, rates were low, and houses were selling way over asking price. I mean, it's, as a mortgage person, you hate to say it, in case David Muir is listening, any negative information you give is positive on the mortgage market. Like the CPI index came out yesterday, the inflation number came out yesterday, unemployment came out yesterday. All those were positive. Mm-hmm. So that was bad for the mortgage market. So we picked up a little bit. So 2020, you literally had like can I say a wet dream for a mortgage guy? I already did. So it's too late if I can't.
Fine.
So you had mortgage rates go down. no inventory. People were offering 20, 30, 40, $50,000. What those people that did, and I've talked to several in that time frame, and I'm like, okay, you offered $40,000 more. So what people have to understand is the appraised value or the sales price, whichever is less. So say you're buying my house for $250 and you offer me $290. Well, you need to bring in $40 before we start your mortgage. Now your down payment starts. So now you got $40. So maybe in 2 years, are you going to be in negative equity? Oh no, I love this house. I'll never move. I love my wife. Well, guess what? What if she hates you in 5 years? Now you have more. It's a weird market, man, but it happened a lot. Like you said, Deb, it happened a lot.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it because like I said, Sean's watching and she is my friend and she is a real estate agent. And I mean, she was so busy like in 2020 during the pandemic and people were just like crazy. I mean, and there were times where she's like, I'm telling my clients, I don't feel comfortable with them spending that much. Like,
No.
she cares and she's honest, which, that's why I love her. But it was like insane the way like houses
crazy. And
the
she
prices.
can, and I'm glad she's on because she can, agree with what I'm saying. It was, you would tell people, and I told clients, do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
Because you're making 40 over, and they're like, well, no, I don't have to bring anything to closing. I'm like, oh no, now
That has to be up front
now
before
you
that.
have to bring in your down payment and everything else. And it's almost like a hedge bet, man. Or maybe they needed kids in schools. I mean, there's obviously everyone has a different situation, but
Sure.
now they're in those houses.
But I mean, it was like that across the states. So you're in Chicago. It was
Mhm.
happening there in 2020 as well.
It was happening everywhere.
Yeah. That's
California was out of control. California's always out of control. I mean, the price point in California, Arizona, the sun states, they call them the sand states. Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me look and see. When is the best time to buy a home? And that's like
Today
is the best time because
No,
the
I'll
rates
tell
are
you
going down.
the thing with buying a home, Deb, honestly, and the big quote now is marry the house and date the rate. It's buying the house is number one, a personal decision.
Yes.
Number two, you want to be comfortable with the payment.
Mm-hmm.
People need to realize when you go on the Google machine over there that the kids talk about, it's principal and interest. Keep in mind it's taxes, insurance, possibly private mortgage insurance if you need it, and maybe homeowners association dues. So people Google, oh, it's $1,000. What? No, you got to add those things on. So
yeah,
my mother.
The PMI, private mortgage insurance. That's when you don't have a large enough down payment, right?
Correct. Private mortgage insurance is when you don't have 20% down.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. And I got to tell you, people years ago that started with PMI don't have it because it's gone up. The values have gone up so much they might be able to drop it. Different story. But people look at PMI like the F word. It's not a bad thing. Get in your house. What are you paying for rent? Are you comfortable with that payment? You're making an investment. Again, the last 2 years, it's been 18% increase in home prices.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they're expecting 7%. But again, the forecasters are like weathermen. We're supposed to get 6 inches of snow in Chicago tomorrow. I could wake up to 45 and sunny. Nobody knows what's going on.
I know. We always say it's like it's the only profession you can be wrong 70% of the time and not get fired.
And still get a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I
It's
guess
like we just look up in the sky and figure it out on our own.
Right. If my windshield wipers are on, it's snowing.
Right.
So I think buying a house, again, it's a great investment. You want to make sure I always tell people, you want to make sure you have a team. I know Illinois is an attorney state. So you want a good attorney. You want a good home inspector. You want a good mortgage guy. But remember, your realtor works for you. If your realtor is not doing their job, fire that realtor. That realtor, again, well-deserved commission, love realtors, but they need to work for you. Your lender, if they're not responding to you, if they're not responding to your attorney, if he's not he or she is not representing you well, They work for you. You're in control. So many people are like, oh, I want to sell my house. I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What are some of the things you have found that in lending and helping like young couples or even older couples, I guess, that what do you find consistently that people are just clueless about?
Honestly, Deb, sometimes it's the whole process.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if you were to say, John, go bake a cake, I'm like, I can't. I don't know the ingredients. I
Yeah.
need someone to help me. I need someone to make this edible. I'd bake it, Deb, but no one would eat it. And if they did, the outcome would be horrible for everybody. So you go to a bakery, you buy a cake. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah. So what do you think about people who are always, that are like for sale by owner? I mean,
no.
that's
And
scary.
your realtor, here's the deal with for sale by owner. Have you researched me, Deb? I swear to God, because videos keep popping up. I just did something on the TikTok with that. And the for sale by owner is okay, I work. I'm out of the house. I get a call, someone wants to see my house. My office is an hour away. That could be an awesome buyer. I can't get home to show them.
Right.
I need my realtor. You really pay your realtor for number one, their flexibility, their guidance, and their flexibility.
Yeah.
Because if that realtor, you're Sean that's on right now. All right, John's at work, Sue's sick in bed. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, but they want to see the house. Let's go, let's do it. So I had a couple friends that did for sale by owner, and I'd say 10% went well, 90% went in the crapper.
Oh, yeah. That's not a good.
I mean, I'm not paid to negotiate a deal. I don't know the comps. You're going to save your percentage on the commission, but when you get a good realtor like Sean, that's who's representing you. But it goes back to get your team, make your money. And you could lose a sale because you're not going to be home. You could lose a sale because you don't know the comps. You could lose a sale because you're not, I'm going to use a kid's term, hip with the market.
You're not hip with the market. You got to be hip. And the other part of this is the stress.
Oh,
I wouldn't want the stress of having to show my own home and know all the ingredients to the recipe that is selling my home. I
no.
would want a professional to do it. I mean, stay in our lane. That's not what I do.
Right. Right. I'm absolutely right. Because I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. A great realtor makes it all seem so easy. That's what that's actually is
But
believing yourself.
vet your realtor. Vet
Yeah.
him. I know a lot of people have picked realtors. Oh, my son's a realtor. How many houses has he sold? 2. All right. He's good for 2 people. It was probably your grandparents. So, don't get into that thing that you got to use a family member. You got to really, it's a business. It's a process, and it's a lot of money, especially in this market where things are going fast. Not a lot of inventory on the market now, Debbie, depending on where you're at. So if you list it, price it right, get it ready to go, and see what happens.
There we go. That's great advice. I like it. Do you have any, before we move on to the next topic? But wait, you changed companies. You were at one company for a long, long time, and now you're at A&N. Is that correct?
A&N Mortgage, Horton at ANMTG.com.
That's right. And so if any of you have any additional questions that we do not cover on this podcast, you can certainly reach out to him at that email address.
Absolutely. And my Instagram is, hold on, Mortgage Man 14.
Mortgage Man 14.
I wrote it down on my piece of paper.
Oh, that's awesome. Mortgage Man 14 Instagram. Yeah, Lori Rain said, I tried to sell my home without a realtor. Never again.
Lori, why? You throw it in there while we're chatting. Why would you say you would never do it again? Just a quick couple words. I'd be curious to see if it's what Debbie and I talked about, because I'm guessing it might be. I literally, if you're just joining, am so excited to be with Debbie.
I'm excited to be with you too. You're so entertaining. Like, we can make talking about mortgage lending entertaining.
If you can make that exciting, we're good to go.
Bada bing, bada boom. Well, what advice? Let's see. I mean, give us some more deets. I mean, you're like when you go live on TikTok.
Ticka-taka
You
every
just never
morning.
stop. It's like brr, brr, brr. People are asking you questions. So before we move on to the next topic, what else can you give to us? Shoot,
You
give it
know,
to us.
I just think don't get crazy. Don't get crazy like wrapped up in this crap, man. You have people that are here to help you. You know what? If your car's broken, bring it to a mechanic. Don't fix it yourself. I'm not handy, just in case anyone wants to know. You know, you need to have, I'll go back to what I said, Debbie. You need to have a team.
Yeah.
You need to
What
have
do
a
you say about
trusted.
people who want to sell their house, but they don't feel like it's ready to sell yet, but they really want to move?
You know what? There is something, and Sean can, and I hope I'm right on this because I might be completely wrong. Sean, are you still there? There's something called a private network. Sean, there before I
I
go
don't
on, because
think
I could
so.
be completely wrong. So the private network, your private network, throw it up there.
Well, here's
Yes.
Lori. But Lori is coming back. Lori Brains. Hi, Lori. Selling my home was too personal, and I received 20,000 more when we sealed the deal. Selling my home was too personal, and I received 20,000 more when we sealed the deal.
I think what she means, and I might be 100% wrong, Debbie, is sometimes you're attached. Oh my God, he took his first step there. Oh, the dog vomited there. No one gives a rat's ass about that if they're buying your house. You do.
Yeah.
You do. Like, for instance, now downstairs, someone who's ready for training camp and a good mortgage rate. No? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So I think you need, I love that dog. Where is he? I think you need to separate yourself, get yourself out of that process. You have so many, maybe your kids were born there. Maybe your daughter's moving out on March 2nd of
Somebody is.
whatever. I don't know. I'm just using that as an example, Debbie. I'm just saying. So you're
If somebody were moving out on March 2nd.
Have you left yet? Hello.
What's taking you so long? Pack it
Debbie
up,
wants
move it
to
out,
know if you're
buddy.
still here. So I think what happens is you put yourself really in such a personal situation of all the memories you have in your house. You're like, oh, I love that. Okay, people don't care about that, and I know it's hard to say, but once you remove yourself and you get a realtor saying, okay, back off, let's restage, let's do something.
Yeah.
And let's go. And then if you can separate yourself from that emotion, I guess is what it is. It's a great way to go.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. And I mean, the fact is, we all have emotional, especially, I don't know, I'll say it, women have emotional attachment to certain things, like a home or, just special things that we're attached to. But if you really know the ultimate end result is you're going to move, just go ahead and get it done. Hire your team and get her done.
Get her done.
Get her
And
done.
stay out of it. Your opinion matters because obviously you're paying your team, but there's a point where they're going to say, or they should say, you know what? We got it. We're good.
Yeah. Oh, Lori's saying she priced her home way too low and she had no legal representation either. Yeah. So, okay. We're following you, Lori. Thanks for.
So Lori, and some states are not attorney driven. Illinois is. I know Wisconsin's not. And what that does for the realtors in the business puts a lot of pressure on their back, man. That realtor now is acting not as an attorney, but taking care of things as Illinois, the attorney would, checking the title, doing all the other things. So, sorry, Lori.
Sorry, Lori. She's like, no, never again. But you know what? You live and you learn. But here we are. And Lori, thanks for piping in and letting us know because, if you're considering trying to sell a house on your own or you don't have the right representation, you got to get the right.
And don't do the Google. Don't do the yellow pages, Debbie. Don't
do those even exist, John?
Stop yourself. Even on the Ticka-Taka, people have reached out and said, hey, do you have a realtor in North Carolina? Do you have a realtor? Do a referral. Don't go, who's the best realtor in my area? Okay, guess who pays the most to be on Google? How many houses don't do it. Reach out, call me. We have, between the guys and the ladies in the office, there's people all over the country. Don't don't do a Google in that kind of, don't do, okay, I want to make a will. Would you Google who would I talk to make a will? No. No, you want to get a referral. You want to make someone that at least you have a conversation with.
Sean is back, and she said it is so difficult to write the language needed in a contract, but not practicing law. We are not a attorney-driven state and an attorney.
Sean deserves every bit of commission. I'll tell you.
She works her tail off. Let me tell
No,
you, I see it.
I'm not fighting with you, Debbie. This is not going to be our first fight. This is not going to be our first fight.
Yes, I love it. Well, I want to talk about you guys. We're gonna tie back in more stuff about mortgage lending, but you guys, he has 6 kids.
I'm sorry, who does? I do, because someone's not listening.
Oh my gosh, yes. I want to know how that is working out for you all over the years. And tell me, before we got on,
it was the best 180 seconds of her life, my sweet.
You're bad. But I mean, 6 children. I only have 2. And wiggle whip it.
I think that's the last time she bought groceries, Debbie, and it was about 6 months ago.
Oh my God. So if she wasn't sick, she'd be in here knocking you upside the head. But so 6 kids, like I have 2. They keep, they're all in sports, I'm sure. So you have how many of each? You have boys?
I have 4 boys and 2 girls. My older son is married, having his beautiful wife. He's 32. I got Eileen, my beautiful daughter, just turned 24. I got Mikey, just graduated college. Awesome dude. I got Emily, not to bring it down, but goes to Michigan State and was on campus on Monday, and now she's home. Anyway, she's fine, but that's where she's at. I got Freddie, who's a junior in high school, and I got Johnny, who's a sophomore. None of them here joining me.
No, but there's one that's still living there, but moving out March 2nd or 3rd, right? Okay, so that's busy. Like,
Johnny, Freddie, and Leanie are still living here, and Emily's in college, but she's home.
Okay, but Emily is at Michigan State and is now home because they shut everything down. But I am sure you were terrified.
No, I got to tell you, Deb, and it was one of those things where, I guess how grateful and gratitude. My older daughter's boyfriend was here for the weekend. Loved the guy. I don't know how he loved the guy. So he was here for the weekend. So it was a surprise. She came in for my daughter's birthday on Friday, picked Emily up at school, came in. Oh, surprise. Emily was going back Sunday. Emily was going back Sunday on the Amtrak. Amtrak's the best way to go. Your bags are packed. Chad stopped her and said, wait, I'll take you back Monday. I'm going to stay tonight. We're going to watch the Super Bowl, have a good time. Great. I'm an early riser. I'm like, get your ass out of the house. I'm going to work, go back to school. He goes, Mr. Horton, do you mind? I'm going to hang out and work at the house. I'm like, I don't care. I'm leaving. I said, just make sure Emily gets back safely. So they left at 4:00 on Monday. Emily and her friends always hang out at the student union on Monday night.
We're talking about Michigan State, folks, and we all know what happened at Michigan State.
So traffic was bad. Emily's like, I want to get something to eat with my friends. He dropped her off at a Chick-fil-A probably about 8:15 on Monday night. And 8:20, all that shit started happening. So it's kind of weird. So I texted the dude, and I like him. Awesome guy. Loves my daughter. Great to my daughter. I'm like, you know what's funny? We were watching the Super Bowl again, having a great time. He's like, you know what? I'm going to stay for the Super Bowl. I'll drive Emily home. Mr. Horton, do you mind if I drive her home later? Because I got to work. I'm like, I don't care. You got to work. You got to work. If he didn't have to work, again, everything's fine. She's fine. Completely shooken up, which is, understandable.
Yeah.
But it's just how those weird things happen that I'm going to stay. Why would she take an Amtrak? I'm going to drive her. I need to work. I'll leave at 3 instead of noon. So anyway.
Does your daughter know of, have they even released the names of the people?
They did release the names. I know on Tuesday, they were holding back one name because a family didn't want to release it, but they
Okay.
did release it. She didn't know any of them, and the
Okay.
campus is, I want to say, 47,000 kids.
Yeah.
No, didn't
Okay.
know
You
any of them.
didn't
But it's
know.
just a whole weird. They all came home. I mean, everyone came home. And will they
Sure.
go back? I don't know. Would I go back?
Right.
I don't know.
It's so scary what's happening in our country,
But
and it
there's
has been.
nowhere that's safe. It's not
It
like
just it's mind blowing. It just seems
oh,
to be, and it's almost like you're expecting it now, which is so sad
right.
because
It's
things
like
like this happen. You're like, oh, again. It's horrible. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, and I'm so
no, and
glad.
I didn't mean to get there, but I just kind of ran by her name, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna.
Yeah,
But no,
that's a big deal. That's a huge big deal. We got prayers for the families
oh,
who have lost their children.
horrible.
Um, and prayers to the kids who are traumatized from this. I'm just,
How would you
and your
go back?
daughter.
Though? How would you go back, man? It's like this is
I
what I
don't
said.
know. And how do you feel as a father for your daughter to go back? I mean,
I don't want her to go back.
you don't want her to go back?
No. I mean, I don't want any kid to ever leave my house, even on a Friday night to go to a high school party. You know how it is. It's like,
Yeah.
man, I can't stay awake because I'm old, but the old sick one over there does. And she stays awake, but I can't. I'm like, I just wake up every morning before I go to work and I count all the beds.
Aw.
And I know they're there because if some of those happened, they would have called. I'm not saying that, but it's just so goddamn weird
Yeah.
that where do you go? Where do you not go? It's not any neighborhood. It's not anywhere. It's what you need, Deb? You need a good goddamn mortgage. That's what you need to make
We
everyone
can
feel
do that.
better.
He can mortgage lender of the world here. He's got you covered. You are licensed in every state, or
Every country in the world, Debbie.
you got
No,
it
no.
covered.
It's literally the kind of the sand states. We're getting more and more licensed, so we'll be good. We'll be good. And you know what? If I can't do it, the thing I love about this business, Debbie, if I can't do it, I send it to someone who will take almost as good of care as the client as I would.
That's incredible. And that's really cool that you're making all of these connections. And now, like you and Sean, and you can bounce things off of one another. And it's fun to learn from other people.
It's fun, but you know what? It gets you up in the morning. I'm up every morning at 5. Debbie, should I go to the health club? Yes. Should I eat donuts in bed and drink coffee? No. What do? I do the donut thing. I do. I can't stop myself. Oreos and donuts and coffee, 5:00 every morning. I don't leave the house till 6:30. And this body, it's all natural, Deb. I'm just telling
It's
you.
all el natural. Hey, that's a breakfast of champions. Oh my
It's the
God.
best thing.
Oreos,
But once
donuts,
you
and
get in
coffee.
that habit, real quick before we go, because I know Lynn just said us 40, it's mindset. It is complete. And I know you believe in this. Everything you look at is complete mindset. I went through a ninja mortgage class. Not getting into it. We'll do it later. But you look at Ryan Serhant. You look at Larry Kendall, who does realtor mindset and mortgage. I'm sorry, realtor ninja and mortgage ninja. Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins, I love. Thanks for watching. Everything comes back to mindset. If your mind is right, it's going to happen. If you throw it out there for your gratitudes and you throw it out there for your mindset, if people aren't doing that and they make fun of it, I made fun of it for years. But man, one of my things I manifested, and I know Lynn's going to yell at me. One of the things I manifested was to be on your show.
Oh my gosh.
Since December, since you found me on TikTok, you throw it out there, you manifest it, the shit happens, man.
It does.
It happens and it comes true. And I got to thank you, Debbie, and I got to thank you, Lynn.
I'm not letting you go yet. I'm going to take a few more minutes because I have some more questions to ask you, but I want to go back to what you just said. This is huge. Okay. The things that I'm doing right now have come to fruition because of manifestation. And
why is it so difficult?
That people want to say, Debbie, do you really believe this bull boo boo? And I'm like, 100%. And I've always tried to be a positive person anyway. And that just makes me feel good. Right. So being positive, and even on days where you don't feel it, just powering through and kind of tricking yourself into just having a better day. I've always been like that. But over the last couple of years, I've really taken the time to meditate pray,
Oh,
but also to think about and put it out there into the universe what I desire
it
for
comes
my
back.
highest good and the good of every, and it comes back and it does.
Isn't it
And
weird?
so,
And
yeah,
no one, I'm not clicking on those things like the little turtle on Instagram. Touch my face 5 times, I'll $5 million. No, you won't. But
yeah,
you hang with the right people.
yeah.
And there's so many people that are in this and that do this. I can't believe my eyes. It looks like, what am I doing? There's
It's
I
fine.
can't, but now I can't see you. There's so many people, like you said, Debbie, when they do it, you wake up in the morning real quick. It'll be quick. Wake up in the morning, set 2 goals for yourself, whether they're huge goals or little goals. And then when you go to bed, look back at your day. Did I hit them or not? My goals today were hire a new guy, be on your show. You know what happens when I go to bed tonight, Debbie? I hit 100%. Tomorrow, I might hit 50%. You're not going to win every day, but every day, if you keep doing that, and again, if you're in a drought, if you're in a route, man, you got my email. Reach out to me. I will help you. I don't care what kind of business you're in. I'm not going to press you into a mortgage. But once you get in this whole weird and again, data 6, you gotta do it. Get your mindset right, no matter what kind of business you're in. It really changes it. You just
It
need the
changes the
support.
game. It's
Yeah.
a game changer. And I'm so glad you brought that up. My gosh, you're just like, you're all these things. I'm so appreciative to you. But I want to talk about real quick. You were in radio, and do you guys hear the voice that he has? He has no microphone or anything. Do you hear the robust voice? And I wanted to bring this picture back up. It was in your intro.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
This is you. Where are you in that picture?
You know what? I got a buddy of mine who is amazing. His name is Rick Federici, and he owns WIMS Radio in Michigan City, Indiana. And Rick and I did radio in college together, and we ended up reconnecting. And he had me come down, and I do a monthly mortgage radio show.
Well,
And
of course you do. Mortgage Man 14.
we just have a blast, man. We just
I
have
love
so
it.
much fun. Rick Federici. I can't believe he's not
Rick
on.
Federici. Rick
Right.
Federici. Where are you, Federici? You're not even on here. Come on.
I'm going to send this to him. I'm going to send this to him at 47:39 and tell him
Yeah.
he is not paying attention.
You did not attend live. What's wrong with you? Well, I just think your voice is like a radio voice. And then, our local voice was on last week. And you guys have very similar vibrato, like the tone of your voice. I feel like I'm an American Idol judge now. The tone of your voice is just so good. But anyway, I love that. And so give me one quick story about you with 6 kids and then a mortgage lender, mortgage guy 14, all these other things you have going on. How do you have time to be a volunteer EMT?
I got to tell you, and it's a great question. I literally wanted to do it forever. Clarendon Hills, small town. It's called a paid-on-call fire department, which is probably 78% of the fire departments in the country.
Okay.
And I got on, and the training is amazing. The drills are every Wednesday night. You got to make 50% of drills, 20% of calls. It's something. I think if we've had more people come in that have now gone on to full-time fireman positions. One guy was a Pella window guy, and now he's a lieutenant in Mount Prospect. There's about 10 of them in Chicago. Wow. It's if younger people are looking for something to do, it's a paid on call department. It's nights and weekends, and it's the training, it's the discipline, it's hanging out with some crazy fun people who, even at this age, have a good time when they have a party.
So, I mean, give me an example of a party, just real quick, and then we're going to wrap up.
Well, there was a group which I know the wives didn't like. We would take a fishing trip every year with about 12 of the guys. 11 of us didn't fish. It was one of those. It was one of those things where you just rented a house and you left on a Thursday. And if anyone watching is from the Kenosha area, my deal is I'll drive at 6 a.m., but we're going to the Brat stop at 7. You'd get to the shared house at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. you'd leave on Sunday as whenever you wanted to go, and it was a fishing trip, and there were no fishing poles. It was just dudes hanging out, being dudes, and then you come home and you get in trouble. So that's how it goes, Debbie.
Well, no fishing was maybe one guy had a fishing pole.
There was one guy, there was one dude who always fished. And what we did is when he caught his fish, we'd take turns like, but you couldn't,
Here I am.
right, but you couldn't keep it in the same, like if mine was like this, Joe's would be like this, and Bob's would be like this.
Well,
It
mine
looked
looks
like
like the same fish.
it looked like a different fish. No,
Oh.
you'd even keep, you'd move. It was 30 years in practice, but
Oh,
it never
man, but
looked like the same fish.
thank you for doing that, though. That's incredible to take the time to
Oh,
learn
I
and get
loved it.
trained,
I
and I
loved
mean,
it.
outside of the fishing trip that wasn't a fishing trip, but all the work that you would do, as, on-call, paid on-call, whatever, but
And I'll tell you, and just a real quick shout out to all the first responders out there,
oh,
whether
yeah,
they're,
for sure.
it's the guys, the women that are running in when everyone's running out, and they really do not. The police officers, the firemen, the EMTs, the paramedic, they don't get enough. They don't really, literally, you get people running out of buildings, and all those guys and ladies are running back in. So, who's ever watching that's out there, man, I got your back.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you for saying that for sure. And before we go, I want to wrap it up with
What? I thought we had till 10:30.
yeah, till 10:30. We're gonna go for another couple hours. It's the marathon. Stay tuned. We're gonna take a break. No, I'm teasing. Okay, so I always ask every single guest that the show is called Find It. And we're all looking for something. And so what have you found in your life that you can share to inspire us to find it too? And don't say a mortgage, a loan.
Damn it.
I took your answer.
You know what I found, Deb, is honestly, and that is, it's a great question. Again, I follow you, and I love all your guests' answers. Be normal, man. Cut out the bullshit. Just honestly be normal to people. Be honest with people. No matter if you're a priest, a mortgage broker, a car salesman, a landscaper, people will be there for you.
Yeah.
So be normal, be nice, send nice little thank you notes. Don't bullshit them, because there's so much out there that, people want to go for you. So I guess my find it would be is be yourself. If you're not yourself, people will find out, and other people will find out really quick. But just, man, be nice. It's just, come on. It's so simple. Just be nice.
Yeah, I think it is too, but for some reason it must not be as easy for some. And I think that that's also a mindset, which you covered in the beginning. You've talked about mindset a couple of times, and mindset's huge, right? For finding out who you are and caring about yourself first, because I feel like when we really know who we are and we care about ourselves genuinely, then there's more of our genuine self to give and care and be kind to other people. I think people who are mean just are not happy people.
What are they going to attract? You're going to attract mean people. They get a bunch of mean people.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you attract what you are.
Right. 100%. And you know that better than anyone.
Well, I don't know about that, but I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
So John Horton, the Mortgage Man 14 on Instagram, or Lynn's going to put up his email again. And if you have questions and you want I'm just going to say it like he does, the no bullshit answer and honest and kindness, you can shoot him an email and he will get back with you. John, thank you so much.
Oh my God. This is seriously Christmas Day. When you reached out to me on the TikTok, and all of a sudden now we're doing this is nuts. I'm sweaty. I have to take this off and probably take a shower.
That's so great. This has been so fun. Hang tight, John. Don't leave. We'll talk to you in the back room with mints and champagne. Just kidding. And so, y'all, stay tuned next week again at the same time. And we have a guy who is a distributor of medical marijuana. I in no way am promoting any drugs I am just promoting and having him on the show to give his thoughts on the drug industry and what he provides that's medical, not just recreation. It's not recreational. He will be on next week. I'm going to give you some details on that later. Stay tuned for that. John, thank you. And with
you're
that,
the best. Thank you so much. And Lynn, thank you for everything. It was so much fun, Debbie.
I had fun too. So stay tuned for next week. See you later.
That floats around me.